One bad decision. One man dismissed without a name. All because of a puddle. Nathan Palmer was a fast-moving CEO who believed in cutting what didn't work. But the janitor he fired wasn't just a cleaner. He was the reason the company stood at all. This is The Quiet Truth. Like, share, and subscribe if you believe not all heroes wear suits. Nathan Palmer didn't believe in second chances. In his world, time was money and mistakes were liabilities. He was the kind of man who walked fast, talked faster, and didn't tolerate anyone who couldn't keep up. His company, Core, had just closed a $120 million Series D, and the pressure to scale fast was suffocating. Nathan woke before sunrise, just like every other day. No alarm, no hesitation. Cold shower, protein shake, espresso. Dashboard metrics on his phone before he even left the bedroom. He didn't see people, he saw results, and if you didn't produce them, you didn't stay. The office was still quiet when he arrived at 6:35 a.m. sharp. His private elevator opened onto the executive floor, perfectly temperature controlled. The scent of cedar and citrus piped in every 15 minutes. Every detail mattered. So when his shoe hit a shallow puddle outside the server room, just enough to smear across the polished floor and leave a dark trail, he stopped, looked down, then up, and something inside him just cracked. Who left this here? His voice echoed down the empty hall. Callie, his assistant, wasn't far behind. I'll check the maintenance logs. Nathan didn't wait. He stormed through the building like a heat-seeking missile until he found the man pushing a mop bucket near the utility hallway. Older. Quiet. Uniform slightly faded. Not dirty. Just worn. Familiar. Are you Walter? The man turned. His eyes were steady. Not defensive. Not surprised. Just calm. Yes, sir. You missed a spill. Walter gave a small nod. I was about to get there next. You're not getting anywhere. You're done. HR will process your exit. A pause. No pleading. No confusion. Just a soft response. Understood. He removed his gloves, unhooked his badge, and walked away. The whole interaction took less than a minute. Nathan returned to his routine without another thought. The pitch went fine. Investors smiled. Coffee flowed. Applause in the boardroom. Back to work. By mid-afternoon, small issues began trickling in. An HVAC glitch. One of the biometric locks stopped syncing. The back-end deployment triggered a failover. Weird, said Marco, lead engineer. Walter usually flagged this stuff. Walter? Yeah, the janitor. But he's kind of... more than that. Nathan raised an eyebrow. He had full access? He helped configure half the old infrastructure. Guy knew every pipe and cable in this place. Legacy systems, fallbacks, all his notes. He was janitorial staff. Marco looked uneasy. Technically. But he was here before any of us. That evening, Nathan walked the lower hallway himself. The janitor's closet was empty, but tucked behind the door was an old metal locker, still open. Inside, a notebook full of diagrams and emergency fail-safes, paper-clipped schematics, and at the very back, a photograph. Two men, younger, smiling, tool belts on, standing in front of an empty construction site. The future Core HQ. One of them was Nathan's father. The other, Walter. Nathan stared at the photo for a long time. He couldn't remember Walter ever being introduced. He never asked. But now, he had to wonder. What kind of man had he just fired? And how deep did that mistake go? Nathan sat at his desk long after the rest of the executive floor had emptied. The office hummed with quiet, servers blinking, filtered air cycling, screensavers bouncing. But something underneath it all felt off. He turned the photo over in his hand. There was a date. 1994. The year neural core broke ground. His father had died 3 years later. Nathan had been away at boarding school, too young to understand what legacy meant, too focused on becoming something himself. Now the past stared back through a worn photograph and a name he dismissed without thought. The next morning, he called Marco. "Pull up our early staff records. Infrastructure phase. See if Walter shows up." Marco blinked. "That stuff's in cold storage. Paper, mostly. Want me to send someone?" "Number, I'll go." The archives were in a dusty corner of the original headquarters. Steel file drawers. Cardboard boxes with faded Sharpie labels. Time capsules of an era before apps and dashboards. Nathan found it. A folder labeled Operations, 1993 to 1995. Inside, a signed offer letter. Job title, Foundational Systems Consultant. Pay, modest. Notes in his father's handwriting. "Walter knows this building better than I do. Trust his instincts." A second file. Emails printed from early intranet. Internal notes. Schematics. And a team photo. The first 15 employees. Standing in front of a skeleton frame of steel and drywall. Walter was in the front row, smiling. No mop, no uniform. Just pride. Nathan sat back against a metal shelf. What did I just erase? Back at HQ, he walked the maintenance wing for the first time in years. People stared. The CEO didn't come down here. The janitor's closet was open. Inside, bare shelves. But a smell lingered. Cedar oil, old paper, and metal polish. Taped to the inside of the door, a checklist. Neat handwriting. Daily tasks, notes, arrows pointing to small repairs. Not orders, thought. Under the shelves, tucked behind the cleaning supplies, he found it. A binder. Black. Leather-bound. Faint gold embossing. WH. L. Inside, network maps. Ventilation fallback routes. Door override codes. Emergency drills. Even a checklist for onboarding new engineers. It read like a systems manual, but clearer, smarter, alive. Walter had kept the place running not because he had to, but because he chose to. And Nathan? He never noticed. He sat down in the utility corridor, right there on the floor. Around him, pipes hissed. The building breathed. And Nathan, for the first time in years, felt small. I fired the man who built my safety net. He closed the binder. I didn't even say thank you. Nathan returned to his penthouse office, binder in hand. The skyline blinked against the evening fog, but he couldn't stop thinking about the photo. The binder, the checklist, the handwriting. He pulled out the oldest envelope inside the back pocket. Yellowed, folded, never mailed. On the front, for Alan, if I don't make it. Alan Palmer, Nathan's father. Inside, a single page, written neatly. Al, the west support wall is off by 2.3 degrees. They poured early. If we don't fix it, you'll have warping by Q4 of year 2. Call me crazy, but I stayed late to correct it. Saved them from cutting corners again. I won't let this place fall. No ego. Just care. Just quiet dedication. He flipped to the next envelope, no name. Just October 19th, 2003. It was written to Nathan's mother. "Ma'am, your boy's got something special. I see it when he runs through the scaffolding and asks why the beams hum. He's sharp. You raised a good one. Just don't let this world harden him too fast." Nathan blinked. He had no memory of that day, but someone else did. Walter had watched him grow up, quietly, from behind the scenes. There were more letters. One to the facilities team, thanking them for letting him take an extra shift during flu season. One to HR, volunteering to train younger staff on emergency protocol. One, unsigned, tucked into the back. "They think I'm invisible." That's okay. The best structures are. Nathan read that sentence 3 times. He remembered the board meeting last year, when the servers crashed and Walter patched it from the basement. He remembered the emergency drill Walter initiated, the one that found a flaw in their escape routing. He remembered not thanking him once. He sat back. Outside, the city moved in silence. Inside, Nathan felt something shift. Not guilt, not regret. Something deeper. Humility. Walter had never sought recognition. He had chosen quiet, and in return, they had forgotten him. The final envelope was blank. Inside, a short note. If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. But if you're reading this, maybe, just maybe, you're finally seeing. Nathan closed the file. I see you, Walter. Nathan stared at the ceiling of his apartment that night. The city's heartbeat muted behind double-pane glass. He couldn't sleep. Not after what he read. Not after those letters. He typed a name into his tablet. Martha Chen. His father's old assistant. She had retired years ago, moved out of the city. But he remembered her once telling a story at a holiday party about the time she and Walter reprogrammed the emergency system during a thunderstorm. He found a number. He called. Martha, this is Nathan Palmer. I need to ask you about someone. There was a pause. Let me guess. Walter Leeds. They met at a quiet cafe outside town, tucked near a lake. Martha was in her 60s now. Silver curls, sharp eyes, cardigan full of safety pins and thread. She brought a photo album, the kind with sticky plastic sheets. I figured you'd ask someday. The first page was a team photo, not corporate. Just 15 people crowded into a break room with mismatched chairs and pizza boxes. Walter stood in the corner, smiling softly, eyes behind thick glasses. He rewired the entire West Wing himself, she said. Didn't trust the contractors. Said they cut corners. Stayed 3 nights straight. Just to fix it. Nathan turned the page. A younger version of his father sat beside Walter, blueprint open, marker in hand. They fought a lot, Martha chuckled, but only because they respected each other. Alan was vision. Walter was structure. One dreamed, the other built. Why didn't he ever take a higher role? Martha's smile faded. He was offered CTO twice. Said titles weren't the reason he woke up. Nathan looked at her. Then why stay in the background? She nodded slowly. Because someone has to hold the beams in place while others build on top of them. Later that day, Nathan stood outside the old Neural Core warehouse. The building had changed. Glassier, taller. But beneath the concrete, it was still Walter's wiring. Walter's vents. Walter's fail-safes. And Nathan? He was standing on someone else's blueprint, claiming it as his own. He took out his phone, typed a new note. Find Walter. Because the story wasn't over. Nathan stood in the company's archive room the next morning. Dim lights flickered overhead as he pulled old documents from drawers labeled with words like build-out, staffing, and founders. He was searching for traces of Walter. In the early files, Walter's name was everywhere. System diagram approved by W.H. Leeds. Electrical plan revised by Walter. Server pathing fix. Thanks, Walter. But something strange happened over time. His name started disappearing. Mentions were reduced to initials. Then, nothing. By 2011, Walter didn't exist in the records. No job title, no badge number, not even a maintenance log. It was like someone hit delete. Nathan sat down slowly, hands resting on blueprints no one had touched in years. He had built a company on top of a man's work, and then unknowingly helped bury him beneath it. He went to HR, asked to see Walter's file. He opted out of digital conversion, the rep said. Old school, kept hard copies. Where are they now? Standard policy. We purge after 5 years post-termination. Nathan stared at her. He worked here for 3 decades. We have no record of that, sir. He walked out without another word. That night, he searched the old email system, digging through compressed PST files. He found an auto-generated memo from 2008. Due to reorganization, Foundational System Engineer Walter H. Leeds will be transferred to Facilities Maintenance, effective immediately. No reason given, no reply chain, no context. He kept digging. An internal ticket flagged a server malfunction in 2013. Attached was a note. Resolved, manually by WHL, after hours. Attached was a photo. Walter, kneeling beside a junction box, tools spread out, eyes focused. No one else in the shot. He zoomed in. On the wall behind him, a whiteboard scribbled with disaster recovery steps. It was the same protocol the company still used today, credited to a consulting firm, not to Walter. Nathan sat back in his chair, hands over his mouth. He hadn't just fired Walter. He had erased him. Or worse, let him be erased. He closed his laptop, opened a fresh document, typed 3 words. Make this right. It took Nathan 3 days to track him down. He checked old mail records, repair logs, staff references. None led to an address. Walter had no social media, no emergency contact. But then he remembered something Martha had said. When things got loud, Walter used to sit by the fountain in Maplewood Park. Nathan went there. Once. Twice. The 3rd time, he brought a coffee and just waited. That's when he saw him. Same posture. Same gray coat. Sitting on a bench near the pigeons, watching the ripples in the fountain. He looked older now. Thinner. But calm. Always calm. Nathan approached quietly. Walter. The man turned. Didn't smile. Didn't frown. Just nodded. I was hoping you'd be here. Walter said nothing. Just looked ahead. Nathan sat down next to him. I came to say, I'm sorry. Walter tilted his head slightly. Not the first apology I've heard. Won't be the last. I didn't know. I didn't ask. That's the problem with titles, Walter said. They make people stop seeing. Nathan felt the words settle deep in his chest. I didn't come to ask you back. I came to ask if you'd tell your story. Walter finally turned toward him. Why? Because people should know. What you built. What they stood on. I want to correct it. Publicly. Walter looked at the fountain. The pigeons. The clouds. Then said, I'm done with offices. But I'll come. One last time. Not for you. For them. Nathan exhaled slowly. Thank you. Don't thank me. Listen. The town hall was packed, more than usual. Rumors had spread. Something about the CEO making an announcement with a guest. A second chair was set up on stage. No one sat in it at first. Nathan stepped up to the podium. No slides, no charts, no clicker. He looked out of the room for a key who never knew the man behind the systems they relied on. We talk a lot about innovation, about future, about what we're building. But today, I want to talk about foundation. He turned toward the second chair. Please, welcome, Mr. Walter H. Leeds. There was hesitation at first, then soft claps, then louder, then standing. Walter walked slowly to the stage, same coat, same posture. He nodded once to the crowd, then took the mic. He didn't say much. Just this. I never needed credit. But people deserve to be seen. The quiet ones. The ones who build while others speak. If I taught anything, I hope it's that. Silence. Then applause. Not polite. Real. Some people cried. Nathan? He stepped back. Let it happen. Didn't try to control it. Just listened. A week later, the lobby of the building changed. A new plaque was installed near the entrance. In honor of Walter H. Leeds. The man who built the unseen. And beneath it, a quote. Quiet work is still work. Nathan stood in the lobby one evening, long after the lights had dimmed and the crowd had gone home. He stared at the plaque, ran his fingers across the name etched into bronze. Walter H. Leeds, the man who built the unseen. It was quiet, exactly how Walter would have liked it. Things changed after that. Nathan rewrote onboarding to include Walter's story. He built a mentorship program for long-term staff. He started listening more. And when he didn't know something, he asked. The company grew, but so did its soul. Walter never returned to work. He sent a letter 6 months later, typed, signed in ink. Thank you for seeing me. I don't need applause, but I'm glad someone remembered to turn the light back on. Nathan framed it, put it right beside his father's portrait. Some stories are loud. They echo in headlines and awards and speeches. But some stories, the real ones, happen in basements, behind locked doors, under the hum of servers and silence. They're not told, they're discovered. And if you're lucky, you see them in time. This has been The Quiet Truth. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and share it with someone who believes in the power of being unseen. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because sometimes, the most powerful voices are the ones who never raise theirs. Until next time.